Hello and welcome to this short presentation on the importance of providing infrastructure on roads to improve bus services. Here we take the example of the A27 Trunk Road from Falmer through to Polegate. Bus services could be improved upon this road if there were better lay-bys, bus lanes and turning areas. Firstly, we visit a very busy section of the A27. At Falmer, there are bus stops which provide access to the university and the village of Falmer. Also, they provide access to routes across the national park for walkers, hikers and tourists. This particular section is also important near Housestein Farm, where the South Downs Way, the national trail, the South Downs Way, crosses the A27. Bus stops are an important part of connecting people to the national park. The C90 national cycle route runs alongside the A27 in this section, and we'll come to that later on. At Falmer, we have two sets of problems for bus passengers and the bus drivers. On the westerly carriageway of the A27, there is a very small bus stop which is very difficult to get into safely and very difficult to get out of safely. And we believe that the only way of improving this situation is to slow the traffic on its approach to the bus stop, on its approach towards the Brighton end of the section. On the other side of the road, buses have difficulty emerging from the university turn onto the A27. In fact, most vehicles have difficulty. Speeds of vehicles on the easterly bound carriageway of the A27 need to be slowed to facilitate this. The bus stop at Housestein Farm on the westerly bound carriageway of the A27 is very, very short, and buses have difficulty in entering this and in exiting this section. It is an important bus stop as it provides access to the South Downs Way and to the campsite on the opposite side of the road. Action needs to be taken to improve this bus lay-by and to slow the speed of traffic. Here at Newmarket Inn, we have another very short lay-by, this time on the easterly bound carriageway. On the opposite side of the road, there is a turning into a side road where there are also problems, this time caused by parking associated with the garage and other businesses in the area. This also needs resolving to allow buses to park, pick up passengers, drop passengers off and continue on their journey. This is an example of the parking problem in the bus lay-by at the Newmarket Inn. This photograph speaks for itself. Bus lay-by is far too short. Whilst we're at the Newmarket Inn, we can't pass by without mentioning the dangerous crossing for pedestrians of the A27 Trunk Road. This problem needs resolving for both passengers, residents and walkers. Also, investment is needed in access to bus stops. Here is an example where the village is some way away from the bus stops on the A27 and can only be accessed by travelling down Ashcombe Hollow. There is a footpath away from the road, but it needs improving. At Ashcombe Hollow, on the eastbound carriageway, work is needed to improve the length of the bus lay-by for safe access for both bus drivers and passengers. Here is that lay-by. As you can see, it's very short, and traffic speeds, despite the 50 mph speed limit on approaches to the roundabout, is still very fast. The problem at Ashcombe Hollow could be resolved by creating a bus lane from the bus lay-by up to the roundabout so as to allow the buses to turn into Lewes further ahead. Work is also required on the westerly carriageway of the A27. Cars, vans and lorries that are visiting the burger van in this section often park right through the whole of the bus lay-by. We believe that a segmented section is required, which is buses only, separate from the actual lay-by for other purposes. This slide shows the problem. Walkers have got less room to travel along the footway, and buses are obstructed from entering the lay-by. On this slide, we've moved further east on the A27. There are a number of tourist attractions in the area: Middle Farm, Charleston Farmhouse, Firle Place, Firle Village, access to Firle Beacon, and also residents in this area need to access the village, having come from bus stops, need to cross the road. So all in all, special attention is needed for this area. In this area, there isn't really a safe crossing for the A27 for either pedestrians or drivers. Action is needed to improve the situation. Thankfully, there is a lay-by on the easterly carriageway of the A27, but on the westerly carriageway there is no lay-by. This could easily be provided in the verge, and safety for walkers, pedestrians, cyclists and children moving from Glynde School to the village of Firle and vice versa could be provided by a pedestrian safety crossing with traffic lights. Here we can see at Firle the ideal position for the installation of a pedestrian traffic light crossing. Also, just to the right hand side of the keep left sign, you can see the bus stop situated without a bus lay-by on the westerly carriageway. Here we are at Middle Farm. There are bus stops on either side of the road, and we also have the issue of safe crossing, as we did with the junction of Firle Village. There is a short section of the road where there is no footpath to allow safe access to Middle Farm, a popular tourist attraction. This could be improved by the installation of a footpath which also could form part of the C19 National Cycle Route. This is where the footpath could be provided on the easterly bound carriageway of the A27. This photograph illustrates the traffic island, which does provide some refuge for pedestrians and cyclists, but could be improved with the traffic light crossing. Now we come to the turning to Charleston House, a very, very popular tourist attraction where there are difficulties for both vehicles turning into the site and for pedestrians accessing the site from the bus stop on the easterly bound carriageway. Both adequate laybys and safe traffic light crossings are needed at this point. At Selmerston, we have bus stops on either side of the road, and safety for villagers and bus passengers alike could be provided by a safe crossing using traffic light control. We're unsure whether this has already been included in the Highways England or National Highways plans, but if it's not, it would be a good solution for the area. Moving on to the section between Selmerston and Wilmington, intervention is required at a number of places on this route, and currently those may be included in the improvements being implemented by Highways England, National Highways. There is a traffic light crossing at the Drusillas roundabout, access to Alfriston and northwards to Berwick. On the road which leads north from the A27 to Berwick and Berwick Station, there is a section of the road where a cycleway multi-user path could be installed to connect with the existing multi-user path further north. We're unsure whether Highways England have considered this in their current plans, but if not, this would be a very important safety facility for the area. At Wilmington, a safe crossing of the A27 is needed. We're unsure of exactly what facility Highways England are going to include in their current improvements, but whether it's for horses, walkers, cyclists, pedestrians, or bus passengers, a facility is needed. On behalf of SCATE, the South Coast Alliance for Transport and the Environment, thank you for listening to this short presentation. We hope it will help planners, engineers, and decision makers to provide better facilities for bus passengers, bus drivers, walkers, cyclists, tourists, and all non-motorized users in accessing the area around the A27 east of Falmer towards Polegate.